2018 Tesla Roadster Review. The good points of Tesla Roadster. Claimed to create new acceleration records. Theoretical electric variety of 620 miles. 4 seats and also a removable hardtop. The bad points of Tesla Roadster. Likely to cost over £150,000. Will this process arrive promptly? Not happy with taking on luxury saloon and SUV manufacturers having its Model S and Model X, supercar brands like Ferrari and Lamborghini are situated in electric car maker Tesla's crosshairs following an unveiling of a new Roadster model, albeit in prototype form. Said to come in 2020, astonishingly its most amazing statistic isn't its claimed variety of 620 miles one charge, an unbelievable distance on an electric car, it's the declare that the 060 miles per hour sprint can take just 1.9 seconds. If it turns out to be true, the Tesla Roadster would be the fastest accelerating production car ever. Charging to new performance records. The Roadster would be a surprise announcement at the conclusion of the firm's presentation of the first electric lorry. Unlike the first generation of Tesla Roadster, that was an electrically powered version in the Lotus Elise purely available in left-hand drive form, the newcomer is definitely an in-house project. That permits the 200 kWh power supply to sit lacking in the Roadster's underpinnings, theoretically blessing the Tesla using a low center of gravity that could benefit handling. Tesla is tight-lipped with a horsepower figure, but there's an incredible 10,000 Nm of torque made available from a trio of electric motors, set to propel the Roadster from 100 miles per hour inside an eye-widening 4.2 seconds additionally, onto a 250 miles per hour top speed. There's no word yet on charging times, though Tesla's supercharging network they'll be brief weighed against other battery electric vehicles BEVs along with no conventional engine. CO2 emissions in the car are going to be 0 gkm. Space for 4, a practical supercar? That scarcely seen first-generation Tesla Roadster was obviously a strict two-seater. Nevertheless, the American brand states until this time around there's space for 4 people, albeit kid-sized inside back. As yet it's unclear how a roof mechanism works, even so the roof panel across the front seats is evidently removable. The rear is tapered just like a coupe, suggesting the back screen doubles as being a tailgate gain access to what could be considered a spacious boot for this type of performance-focused car. Do I sense a but coming? It all sounds remarkable, doesn't it? While is pumped up about the performance prospect, we'd urge a qualification of skepticism until Tesla gets its affairs so as. There are already numerous reports of quality glitches with all the Model X, plus the smaller Model 3 is off to some slow start due to a litany of production issues. Reserve some of those and, in the time writing, you are likely to be waiting 12 to 1. 5 years before it'll be in your driveway. Add to that this introduction in the truck and also the Roadster, and you've to wonder if Tesla is attempting to sprint before it's mastered walking. Time will inform. However, if you're intrigued enough because of the Roadster and fancy putting down a $50,000 nearly £38,000 deposit to get a Founders Series introduction spec model, Tesla will happily oblige. We'll probably be among the very first to drive the newcomer, so check back around then to the full Tesla Roadster review. No unsuitably slow engines offered. One absurdly fast option available. All versions are satisfyingly capable. Audi A5 Coupe petrol engines. The initial 2 choices here revolved around a 4-cylinder 2.0-liter turbocharged motor, with either 190 horsepower or 252 horsepower, Rogue's available with quattro all-wheel drive. With 320 Nm of torque available, the lower power output version takes 7.3 seconds to perform the 0.62 mph benchmark, whilst the more potent engine has 370 Nm of torque and cracks the sprint in 5.8 seconds. The 252 horsepower unit carries a meaty soundtrack in dynamic mode. Playing with ordinary day-to-day driving, it lacks visceral drama. It's quick but doesn't feel as flexible since its diesel counterparts, which have more torque available. Expanding the product range from early 2018 was the 1.4-liter TFSI, producing 150 horsepower and 250 Nm of torque from 1,500 revolutions per minute. Despite it being the entry point with the A5 range, its performance is a bit more than acceptable, which has a 0.62 mph use of 8.9 seconds. Audi A5 Coupe diesel engines. From the entry-level 2.0-liter to your pair of 3.0-liter V6 units, the TDI diesel lineup really suits the character from the A5 Coupe with strong gear acceleration. Unlike the A4 range, there's no 150 horsepower version with the 2.0-liter TDI, but there's a 190 horsepower example, which we prefer. This makes relaxed progress with 400 Nm of torque and also a 0.62 mph use of 7.2 seconds, a tenth faster than its similarly powerful petrol equivalent. Topping the TDI diesel range can be a 3.0-liter V6 with two power outputs, either 218 horsepower or 286 horsepower. The first matches each 0.0-liter's torque with 400 Nm, whilst the more powerful V6 packs 620 Nm of pulling power. The result may be the 286 horsepower motor requires 5.2 seconds to finish the 0.62 mph dash, a second less compared to the 218 horsepower version. The 286 horsepower 3.0 TDI feels really quick, pushing you to the back of your respective seat with stout acceleration, while constantly humming away quietly in the bonnet. Audi S5 Coupe Performance. The next run-up within the performance stakes will be the S5 Coupe, that is powered using a turbocharged 3.0-liter V6 petrol engine. This produces 354 horsepower and 500 Nm of torque, good for any 0.62 mph duration of just 4.7 seconds, 2/10 quicker compared to the previous generation S5. Power is quite spontaneous, especially at higher revs where any movement of your respective right foot is met by way of a jerking motion forwards or backwards. It's easier drive an automobile more smoothly while using gearbox left to use normal D-drive mode compared to more responsive S-Sport setting. Sadly, exactly the same quick reactions will not be mirrored because of the 8-speed automatic gearbox, which is really a bit ponderous compared to the 7-speed dual-clutch S-tronic box. It's better after you commandeer the paddles driving and manage the gear shifts yourself, but nevertheless not as razor-sharp as weeds such as a performance car. You will also get quattro all-wheel drive along with a racy soundtrack that produces itself heard inside the cabin even at relatively low speeds. Luckily, it's a good-sounding thing that has a nice warble at low revs, building to some high-pitched bellow in the red line. Audi Rs5 Coupe Performance. Where the S5 is quick, the Rs5 Coupe is, frankly, ridiculous. The twin-turbo 2.9-liter V6 TFSI continues to be tuned to generate 450 horsepower and 600 Nm. Rogues from 1,900 revolutions per minute. Like the S5, the gearbox will be the traditional technology 8-speed automatic with Tiptronic manual override. It also features torque-sensing quattro four-wheel drive which has a rear-end bias which is watchily felt when driving. There is not any hint of understeer. Performance around the Rs5 is intoxicating. 0.62 miles per hour is handled in 3.9 seconds without any drama or apparent effort, simply a distant bark through the adjustable exhaust. For drivers used for the instant flick from the tachometer using a dual-clutch transmission, the slightly analog feel on the Rs5 gearbox might feel slow. Nevertheless, it provides a welcome dose of normality in the vehicle which relentlessly exceeds performance expectations. Manual override holds gears providing you want, eliciting somewhat artificially induced pops and crackles through the tailpipes. Overtaking has never been a question of power, only opportunity, the engine and gearbox responding immediately to demands. It falls for the stop-start system to permit the side down, causing an occasionally frustrating delay at junctions, the location where the power and traction should allow safe progress. Your environmental conscience does come, which has a price. That same system also leads to rather erratic progress in traffic. Switch rid of it, and trade economy for calmly crawling along at idle, something that's particularly easy together with the optional traffic jam assist enabled. Quattro designs have astonishing traction. Ride comfort well suited for long journeys. Falls in need of true sports car involvement. Unsurprisingly, the Audi A5 Coupe shares similar handling characteristics on the A4 range which it is based, which is to say it can be a marked improvement over its predecessor. While the previous generation model's steering was numb, this version delivers additional feedback plus a well-weighted, linear action. It feels more down to useful when combined with all the huge cornering traction enabled from the Quattro all-wheel drive system. You can set things up the way in which you want them using the Audi Drive Select system, having 5 modes called Comfort, Auto, Efficiency, Dynamic and Individual, the second allowing you to mix the settings up. Optional adaptive dampers give you a good balance of agility and comfort, using a cosseting ride over broken tarmac as well as a firmer setting for faster cornering. It still feels a lot more like an A4 than we'd like though. Given its coupe designation, it could be more satisfying should the handling reflected this having a sportier nature. Taking this a notch, the Audi Rs5 Coupe. Increasing the ability and turning the main focus to ultimate performance, the Rs5 Coupe should avoid accusations to become too soft when discussing the handling. There are a number of choices when specifying the Rs5 suspension. The whole active RS Sport system with dynamic ride control, and also a standard adaptive damper setup. This system has comfort and dynamic modes as well as option to automatically switch between. Both settings are impressively in a position to isolate road imperfections, passing information on the driver without getting disruptive. Comfort floats over dips and ripples within the road, and is also absolutely great for legal, sensible progress in British conditions. Dynamic stiffens your body control without losing ultimate compliance, tracking the trail surface, yet absorbing unexpected jolts without fuss. The skittish feeling of the firmly damped car on mid-bend ruts is usually very well controlled, partly through damping, and partly through incredible traction and electronic responses. If you're uncomfortable using a little body roll on rapid bends, the firmer setting inspires confidence. Though the Rs5 is very well within its abilities on any road, you can savor the comfort as well as have absolute faith inside the car. Drive Select is dependent on taste and mood, not capability here. The rear-biased Quattro system does provide a bit of excitement in weight transfer and low-speed, high-power cornering again. This is an entirely safe package, with a lot more traction than it is best to ever need. On wet roads, the all-wheel drive method is almost essential considering the performance available. For enthusiasts, the track potential on the RS5 is undeniable, and Audi offers dynamic steering, dynamic ride control and carbon ceramic brakes, as well as being a cost replacement for Remove the Limiter. As you'd expect coming from a car as technically accomplished since the RS5, the steering is flawless. There's a qualification of isolation that may upset drivers looking to get a hard-edged track car. It may be at odds with all the rest with the package, however. Virtual Cockpit reduces driver distraction. A tactile delight with quality materials. Comfort and control placement near perfection. Lifted from your A4 Saloon and A4 Avant ranges, the dashboard from the A5 Coupe is better than its competition regarding quality of materials, fit and finish and ergonomics. That's a substantial statement, but one that may be easily copied. All on the buttons and controls feel substantial and pleasing to make use of, in particular the touch-sensitive climate control panel. The layout is easy, but layered in ways that groups things together to ensure they are easy to find. You sit very reasonable, which befits the coupe physique, and it's an easy task to get everything built the way you like thanks to your highly adjustable driver's seat and several reach and rake with the steering wheel. Subtle alterations for that Audi RS5 Coupe cabin. Leaving the majority in the interior alone, there are a few RS5 logos, and racing aluminum or carbon fiber trim to reinforce the sportier ethos. The steering wheel is often a chunky, flat-bottomed leather affair that feels great. It's sporty, and also luxurious. Even while using suspension inside firmest dynamic setting, plus a rapid pace on imperfect roads, there's an shortage of rattles across the cabin. Spec the optional large sunroof and a delightfully airy interior for any low-slung high-performance car. Highly adjustable sports seats. Front of cabin feels spacious for the coupe. Rear seats generous but lack legroom. Crunching motorway miles in the Audi A5 Coupe is usually a relaxing and quiet experience, with little wind, tire or engine noise infiltrating the cabin. The seats in the beginning are large and supportive, especially the optional sports versions as well as the extra bolstered chairs found from the S5 and RS5. Spec them, which has a massage function, and you are obviously unlikely being disappointed. It's much less comprehensive remedy as those from the Audi A8 Saloon, but there's enough movement to mitigate any low back pain. Ride quality is quite good, even on broken surfaces, with lumps and bumps absorbed through the well-judged setup. A relaxing supercar, the Audi RS5 Coupe. Migrate towards the RS5 and you also would expect the degrees of comfort for being sacrificed for ability. The sports seats produce an exceptional array of adjustment in spite of their racing bucket appearance, and ultimately there isn't any compromise here. As while using S5, the seats include heating and massage modes with optional rear seat heating. With the car in comfort mode, it is a serene location to spend hours and search in the best roads. The small fuel tank does impact the stove though, so although it's suitable to long-distance touring, your family will enjoy frequent fuel stops. Virtual Cockpit looks great, cuts distractions. High-end 19-speaker B&O stereo audio available. Driving assistance package is worthwhile. The Audi A5 Coupe comes inside familiar Sport and S-Line trims, with an increase of equipment available as standard just for this second-generation model. Performance fans should find the S5 and RS5 versions as standalone trim levels. Standard Audi A5 Coupe equipment. You get yourself a fair level of kit on base spec sport cars. 17-inch alloy wheels. Xenon headlights with LED daytime running lights. Rear parking sensors. 3-zone climate control. 7.0-inch color screen for your multimedia system. Satnav. 10 speakers with the audio system. Audi smartphone interface. Cruise control. Leather upholstery. Sports seats inside the front. A 3-spoke leather-trimmed sport controls with gearshift paddles on automatic cars. Keyless ignition. Progress and Mount 2S line along with your A5 will probably be fitted with 18-inch alloy wheels. 20 mm lower ride height. LED back and front lights with scrolling indicators. Embossed seats with 4-way lumbar support. Alcantara suede and leather upholstery. Take a performance leap to your Rs5 Coupe, and also the standard kit roster additionally includes specific grille, bumpers and body kit. Aluminium door mirror housings. 19-inch alloy wheels. S-Sport suspension lowered by 23 mm. Gloss black brake calipers. Topping the stove is Rs5 Coupe using a suitably generous higher-level standardized equipment. Unique bodywork with flared back and front wheel arches. And more aggressive body kit as opposed to S5. A gloss black honeycomb pattern grille. A discreet black rear spoiler. A different design for that 19-inch alloy wheels. Adjustable suspension damping. Rs5 specific front seats. Optional Audi A5 Coupe extras. There's plenty from which to choose here, with things such as Audi phone box with wireless charging, Audi virtual cockpit, Bang & Olufsen 3D speakers, interior inlays in carbon atlas, piano black or oak wood, head-up display, matrix LED headlights and massaging seats. Just monitor how much you're spending, because the cost of an A5 Coupe can rocket without much provocation. Radar and camera-based active safety. Excellent crash protection. Above all, secure and safe handling with Quattro. The A4 gained the entire 5 stars from Euro NCAP. Also, since the A5 Coupe is indeed structurally similar, many experts have combined as part in the same test. There's a lot of safety kit available, including active lane assist, adaptive cruise control, pre-sensitive emergency stop and multi-collision brake assist filling the roster. How many ICE-FIX points does the Audi A5 Coupe have? Given which the two-door A5s are strict 4-seaters, it is no surprise that both in the rear seats offer generous degrees of space, with an ICE-FIX child car seat offering you don't mind accessing them by tipping leading seats forward. The front passenger seat boasts ICE-FIX mounting points for just a rear-facing seat, but installing one makes access towards the back seats in the curbside impossible. Driver and front passenger is going to be comfortable. Rear seats surprisingly good, but in short supply of legroom. Boot is impressively large. It's less practical since the Audi A4, that will be a given since it only has 2 side doors along with a more aggressively sloping roofline. The 2 back seats should be described as occasional for everyone over 6 feet in height, although smaller passengers will discover the head and legroom acceptable. Large for just a two-door car, the Audi A5 proves remarkably an easy task to place around the road. Good forward visibility and reasonably sized mirrors are assisted by driver aids, as well as a 360-degree camera pack obtainable in some option bundles. The low level on the dashboard also increases visibility. The only time you'll obtain the A5's body design harder to reside in with versus the A4 is the place opening the doors, if your extra length needs a reasonable quantity of clearance, especially if using the back seats. This can make tightly spaced parking bays a chore. Sharing its underpinnings using the practical A4 means the A5 is usually a very easy coupe to call home with. The boot is smaller versus the A4S, but 10 liters up on the very first generation A5, offering a complete of 465 liters and 402,040 split rear seats longer items. Obviously, that has a conventional boot lid. Accessing the boot space just isn't as easy as it is within the A5 Sportback, which consists of electrically operated tailgate. However, you may specify a gesture-controlled electric boot lid along with an automatic pop-out tow bar as options, boosting the practicality of the two-door coupe. There's space to get a full-size spare plus a couple of oddments areas. An optional load net is incredibly useful on high-performance models or rusher roundabouts. Quattro models have a similar boot space as front-wheel drive variants.